On this segment of Essentials of Muzzleloading, I want to talk to you about field muzzleloader maintenance. Now, in a hunting situation, a lot of times we're faced with inclement weather, and we have 3 different barrel configurations to help protect these guns against that kind of rust and corrosion that you would experience in rain or snow. Our first one, this gun here, is a stainless steel barreled action. And I want you to say stainless steel very slowly, stainless steel. So if you're in a snow or rain environment, a stainless steel barrel can rust, so you do have to take care of it, and that's where we come in with our CVA cleaning supplies and our oil to make sure that this barrel stays rust-free throughout its lifetime. But as we work our way forward, and again, technology has touched muzzleloading in every facet that we look at today, this next gun in particular, this is a CVA Optima, and at quick glance you think this black barrel is actually a blued barrel, but it's not. We do not do blued barrel versions anymore. If you see a black barrel like this here, it is actually a stainless steel barrel that has went through a nitride process, which basically pulls carbon from the interior portion or the molecular structure of the stainless steel and turns this barrel black on the outside and on the inside, which makes it totally impervious to any kind of corrosion in any weather that you throw at it. And lastly, as I work our way to the top, this gun here obviously is a beautiful gun with a black stock and the Cerakoted barreled action in flat dark earth. But underneath this Cerakoted portion is also a nitride stainless steel barrel. So you also get the nitride protection, which is exterior and interior of the barrel, and also a cool Cerakote color. So this is the best option of the 3 that we make today as far as making them impervious to rust or corrosion. And as we move our way forward, I want to talk about cold weather. Of course, in the muzzleloading season, a lot of times they are in a later portion of the year, which you're going to experience could be snow, sleet, or rain. And what I want to make sure that you understand, now I don't have glasses on, but I know a lot of folks, as they get older, they start wearing glasses, or maybe at a young age, if they had bad eyes, they also wear glasses their entire life. So if you've ever walked from outside in a cold weather environment to inside your home to where it's a really big temperature swing, your glasses will fog up. Always make sure that in a hunting scenario that you leave your muzzleloaders in that cold environment, AKA do not bring it inside the house after the hunt. Leave it in the truck, because these barrels will sweat just like your eyeglasses will. And one thing to understand, that moisture and condensation in a black powder propellant is something that you do not want to have to deal with the exception of Blackhorn 209. Blackhorn 209 is not a hygroscopic powder, meaning it does not absorb moisture. But if you're using a pelletized powder or a Pyrodex or 777, they're very, very hygroscopic, and they can absorb any kind of moisture, which could cause a failed load, a hang fire, or something like that. So you want to make sure that if you're hunting in a cold environment, you leave that gun overnight in that same cold environment, like leave it in your truck. Another scenario that you guys may encounter as you're working your way to the tree stand early in the morning or walking back out to the truck in the evening is if you happen to trip and fall and stumble and you run the crown or muzzle of your barrel into the ground. It's called a barrel obstruction. So there could be dirt or debris in here, and that's the last thing you want. And I know that this is stuff that you probably already know, but we just want to touch base on it to make sure you're very clear about it, and it's the front portion of your focus. If you do happen to trip and fall and get a barrel obstruction, AKA dirt in the barrel, number one, on every muzzleloader that we manufacture in the break open line, we have a QRBP, which is our quick removable breech plug. And the first thing you want to do if you think you do have a barrel obstruction is remove your breech plug, and you can take your range rod that's on the gun here in particular, or a field rod that I have here, and basically push that entire load. This is your powder column. This is where the powder sits. Of course, the projectile's in front of that. You just want to take your field rod or your range rod and push that entire load and the barrel obstruction all the way out of the front of the barrel and start fresh. That way we don't have a safety hazard and an issue going down the road. And lastly, we talked about moisture just a little bit, but again, the modern propellants that we use today, 777, Pyrodex, White Hot pellets, and Blackhorn 209 are very susceptible to foul weather, with the exception of Blackhorn 209. But if you ever have a thought in your mind that you have a load that has had some moisture get into it, it's always a very safe bet to dump that load or push that load out and always start with a fresh load. You know, at the end of the day, we spend a lot of time, money, and effort to travel to a hunting location, whether it's behind your house or 1,000 miles across the country to take part in a great muzzleloading season. We have a lot of time, effort, and money invested in each sit that we sit on a tree stand. And the last thing you want to do is have a load that has been touched by some kind of moisture that's going to cause that load not to be good. So it's always best bet just to dump that load, put a fresh load in. That way when you go to the field, you have the best load in your gun and the freshest load that you can have to make sure that when you ask for it, it goes to work. In this segment of Essentials of Muzzleloading, we've talked about the guns that we manufacture, the different type of barrels that we make, and the coatings that also make these guys impervious to weather. But if you're concerned about cleaning and making sure these guns last a lifetime and become an heirloom product, you can go to CVA.com, and we have a full line of muzzleloading cleaning accessories and also oils to make these guns last a lifetime for you and your family members.